Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Wednesday evening, February 28, 2024. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap notification bell so that you will be notified every time I post a brand new video. Feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know that that's been like a year recently. Also feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let us take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening. We can still see that the entire Atlantic basin is being dominated by a ridge of high pressure, and the dome is situated right there across the northern section of North Atlantic, and it's responsible for sending all of those easterly trade winds across the main development region from Africa into the Caribbean. We can also see this blue line with some red squiggles attached to it, associated with what's left of that stationary cold front, and we can see all of that even better on the latest visible satellite images. Lots of activity taking place is all of that low level cloud flow from the main development region. Some of these low level clouds definitely have in some amount of isolated shower within them, definitely getting in on some of the action across sections of the Leeward and Windward Islands. And we can see the general direction from east west, all courtesy of that easterly trade wind brought about by that ridge of high pressure. You can also see the clouds associated with that stationary front, that frontal system. We'll be talking more about the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Wednesday, February 28, 2024. It was stated that northeastern Jamaica would have received some isolated morning showers. Yes, some areas did indeed get in on that isolated morning shower, but the afternoon was predicted to bring some amount of rainfall to eastern Jamaica, St. Thomas, Portland. We know eastern Jamaica, we're talking about St. Thomas, Portland, Kingston, St. Andrew. But that didn't really verify at all, even though in the afternoon we saw some clouds coming in from the east. We didn't get it at the time that it was predicted to come. What we instead got was some amount of clouds across sections of some southern parishes, so maybe sections of St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, sections of Westmoreland got in on some of the action. So we can see that there are times when these models aren't 100% accurate. Because look at that, we got rainfall in southern Jamaica. We know southern parishes, we're talking about Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Thomas. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica before the sun went down, we can see that we even had a buildup of clouds and isolated shower activity across sections of Kingston, St. Andrew, sections of St. Catherine, and we saw some clouds coming in from the east, but most of those clouds were offshore to the south and east of St. Thomas. If we take a look at the latest infrared satellite images, we don't have much to worry about. We still have those clouds coming in from the east. We still have some leftover clouds right there off the coast of St. Elizabeth. Nothing of great significance. And the Cuban Doppler radar images aren't showing much at all. Just some greens that represent light to moderate rainfall right there between Haiti and the Jamaica area. As relates to the temperatures right now, we can say we have 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 27 degrees Celsius in Kingston, and by about 2 a.m. on Thursday, temperature should dip down to about 23 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 21 degrees Celsius in Kingston. As it relates to the temperature forecast for Thursday, this map from the GFS is showing 18Z, which is actually 1 p.m. on Thursday. And we do see Jamaica embedded in some yellows and some slight oranges that represent anywhere from 1 to 2 to even 3 degrees Celsius above normal temperatures. And we know the normal temperatures for the month of February across Jamaica are about the same as 86.4 degrees Fahrenheit. And when we take a look at the thermometer, 86.4 degrees Fahrenheit is about the same as 30 degrees Celsius. So yes, you're going to be receiving anywhere from 30 to 33 degrees Celsius during the winter in Jamaica. Yes, it's still winter, almost heading into spring. We know March 21 is going to be spring. As a matter of fact, meteorological spring begins the day after tomorrow. Alright, so let us take a look at the dry air map. We know the dry air is represented by the yellows, oranges, reds, and whites within those reds, and we can see that we have the driest air across sections of the Gulf of Mexico. We have those reds, not to mention right there to the northwest of Africa. The Caribbean getting in on those yellows and oranges. Even the area around Jamaica, a lot of dry air across the region. Excuse me. And what we are happy that we don't see is this iron dust. You can see that majority of what was plaguing portion of the southern and eastern Caribbean is forecast to clear out for 2 p.m. on Thursday. But we do see some slight shades of browns right there across the main development region, even darker shades closer to Africa that represent some vigorous kind of plume of dust, maybe some hazy skies across sections of Western Africa, maybe triggering some asthma or sinusitis in some people. We're indeed grateful that for 2 p.m. on Thursday, Jamaica will be in the clear. Let's trace the wave forecast for tomorrow. You can still see that surrounding the island, we have those lighter shades of blues and darker shades of blues that represent anywhere from 0.5 for meter wave height to 1.5 meter wave height. And that's because the winds are going to be coming in from the east for the most part, averaging anywhere from 5 to 10 to even 15 knots in some spots. And whatever we're gonna be getting tomorrow is gonna be coming off of the sea from the east and spreading across the island from east to west. So eastern, central, and western Jamaica could get whatever is to come. And we have to take these forecasts with a grain of salt, especially considering what happened today. It was forecast I would have gotten some rain across eastern Jamaica. I was in eastern Jamaica and we didn't get much rainfall, as we saw most of those clouds piled up across section of southern Jamaica. But the models are still in the forecast for sections of eastern Jamaica, especially to get in on more rainfall. This map from the GFS is valid for 2 p.m. on Thursday. And look at those darker shades of blues. So when we see those darker shades of blues, that's a higher signal that the chances of the rainfall is gonna be higher. And we see sections of Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew, even section of St. Catherine possibly gonna be getting on that afternoon rainfall. Euro model showing blues that represent rainfall across the same spots, but it's incorporating some more central and western parishes. And just for reference, we know central parishes we're talking about, those parishes in the county of Middlesex, so St. Anne, St. Mary, St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester. Western parishes we're talking about St. Elizabeth, Clarendon, Hanover, St. James, Trelawney. And even by 4 p.m., we see that majority of these blues that represent rainfall have spilled into section of central and western Jamaica. So eastern parishes, for the most part, getting in on a break. Central and western parishes could be getting in on more of that rainfall. So we'll see exactly what unfolds. Either way, both maps from the Euro and the GFS have a higher signal than what was shown yesterday in terms of excuse me, the accumulated rainfall totals that are expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Thursday. And we do see that the Euro is a bit more robust, showing up to 0.27 of an inch of rainfall across sections of central and western Jamaica. GFS showing up to 0.2 of an inch, and we see that mainly across sections of St. Catherine, Kingston, and St. Andrew. So we'll see exactly what unfolds. Either way, if you're going out tomorrow, please ensure that you walk with your umbrella, your rain gear, whatever you need, your raincoat, water boots, just in case. We're indeed grateful that we're going to be getting in on rainfall. We're in the final days of February. We're going to be heading into the month of March. We get a slight increase in the amount of rainfall as we start to head into spring. And we know next comes April, then May, the primary rainy season. Is it the primary or the secondary rainy season? And we know that October, September is the primary rainy season. So we're indeed grateful that we're going to be getting on a little bit more rainfall during the month of February across sections of the island, even although we're not really supposed to because it's the dry season. So we'll take all the rainfall that we can get to put some kind of a dent in the hydrological drought that is being that's currently happening across the island. Excuse me. Alright, so that is it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So as stated, we have a lot of low-level clouds pushing from east to west across portions of the Caribbean, bring some isolated showers, if not overcast skies to some areas. Excuse me. And if we take a look at the northeastern Caribbean, we can see all of that rainfall even better. Just some hit or miss light to moderate rainfall is represented by those greens across portions of the northeastern Caribbean, section of Puerto Rico getting in on the action, east of Antigua and Barbuda, east of Guadeloupe getting in on the action. Even on the Barbados radar, we do see that rainfall heading into sections of Martinique, sections of the Grenadine Islands, maybe section of Grenada later on tonight, Tobago, Trinidad getting in on the action. If we take a look at the wider view of Doppler radar images, not much to report across everywhere else. Florida, sections of Central America, the Southern Caribbean, the ABC Islands, and Northeastern Caribbean should be in the clear. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, we do see more than have grays across majority of the Windward Islands, sections of the Northeastern Caribbean as well. I know the grays represent average temperatures. We know the yellows and the oranges represent slightly above normal temperatures, and that's definitely what's going to be plaguing most of the Caribbean for Thursday. As it relates to 2 p.m. on Thursday, in terms of the Saharan dust, majority of the Caribbean should be in the clear, as all the browns that represent the Saharan dust should be across sections of the main development region and Africa. As it relates to the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can say both the Euro and the GFS are showing more in the way of blue, stretching all the way from the Gulf of Mexico into the Western Caribbean and the Eastern Caribbean, that represent anywhere from 0.5 of a meter to 1 to even 1.5 of a meter, 1.5 meter wave height. While this waters to the south of Jamaica, to the north of Panama and Colombia, should be getting in on those purples that represent anywhere from 2 to 3 meter wave height. And as usual, we know that's because the winds are going to be strongest across those waters, where we see those yellows, maybe gold colors that represent anywhere from 25 to 30 knots. Coming in from the east, averaging anywhere from 5 to 10 to 15 knots across majority of the Caribbean, except for those areas that we mentioned to the south of Jamaica. As it relates to the rainfall totals, the forecast for tomorrow, let us look for consensus with what the accumulated precipitation forecast maps from the Euro and GFS are showing. These maps are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Thursday. And we do see those greens, those yellows, those oranges that represent some amount of measurable rainfall. And we do see some in store for sections of eastern and southern Cuba, sections of Jamaica, sections of Haiti and the Dominican Republic, not to mention Puerto Rico. You can also see some in store for sections of the northeastern Caribbean, section of the Windward Islands, so Barbados, section of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, section of Guadeloupe, Antigua and Barbuda. The British Virgin Islands might get on some of the action. Skipping southward, we can see that we do indeed have some amount of rainfall expected for sections of Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Honduras, and even portions of Western Colombia. We know that when both maps from the Euro and the GFS are in consensus like this, the chance of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.